Good evening and thank you for joining us. Chinese mainland tax authorities have begun levying personal income tax on returns from offshore insurance policies. That reportedly aims to close a long-standing regulatory loophole as cross-border financial data sharing becomes more comprehensive. According to mainland financial news outlet Caixin, tax authorities have already enforced a policy in cities including Beijing and Hangzhou, but cases remain relatively limited. A 20% tax has been imposed on returns from Hong Kong participating in insurance policies, including policy dividends and interest earned on prepaid premiums. Under China's individual income tax law, personal income tax applies not only to wages and salaries, but also to business income, interest, dividends, and bonus income. Interest, dividends, and bonus income are generally subject to a 20% tax rate. The report also cited insurance industry representatives as saying there is currently no clear threshold for enforcement, meaning the tax is not limited to high-value insurance policies. Analysts say uncertainties remain over how the policy will be implemented, including whether it could have retrospective effect. They expect the move to dampen mainland residents' appetite for buying insurance in Hong Kong in the short term. Insurance sector lawmaker Chen Pui-leung said that since 2018, mainland China has participated in a reporting scheme with multiple jurisdictions. Under the framework, overseas financial institutions, including Hong Kong banks and insurance companies, identify accounts held by Chinese tax residents and share information such as investment income and insurance policies with China's State Taxation Administration. He said greater tax clarity could benefit the market with a more transparent and stable framework for cross-border capital flows over the long term. He adds that Hong Kong remains an attractive insurance market because insurers have access to a wider range of global investment opportunities and products. And returns on Hong Kong insurance products are currently around 6% to 6.5%, compared with roughly 3% to 3.5% on similar products in the mainland. Hong Kong's government unveiled the 11th silver bond issue with a 4.25% interest rate floor. That marks the second highest rate on record from the low-risk investment product targeting local senior investors. Hiba Khan reports.
In the 11th silver bond issue, the government has raised the issuance size to a maximum of $55 billion from the original $50 billion target. The 3-year bond's semi-annual interest payments are tied to the city's average annual inflation rate and follow whichever that's higher in level. Each eligible investor who was born in 1967 or earlier, holding a valid Hong Kong identity card, will be allowed to subscribe for up to 100 board lots, with each board lot costing $10,000.
Basically, we make reference to some of the similar products being available to the market, including, like, for example, right now, if you talk about a 12-month time deposit, the rate being offered is around 2 to 3%. And at the same time, given the fact that it is a 3-year term bond, we are of the view that our product is sufficiently attractive.
The bonds will not be listed on any exchange or traded in a secondary market, while investors may sell the bond back to the government before maturity by requesting an early redemption. The 11th batch of silver bonds will be issued under the infrastructure bond framework, and proceeds will be used to fund public works projects, aiming to enhance Hong Kong's infrastructure and city development. Applications will run from August 21st to September 4th. It's expected to post the allocation results on September 11th and launch the bond issuance on September 15th. Based on last year's numbers, the government is expecting more than 300,000 applicants this year. Relevant interest rates will be announced on the Hong Kong government bonds website. Hiba Khan, TVB News.
CLP says the company earned a net profit of around $6 million in the first half of the year, a year-on-year increase of 6.6%. The energy company says the average net tariffs increased by 4% in the first 8 months of the year, which is below the increment of oil prices. CLP's chief executive Chiang Tong-keung says the group will adjust electricity prices monthly based on the changes in oil prices. But there will be a 3-month fuel rebate between August and October for half of its residential customers. China has expressed its opposition to the United States overstretching the concept of national security and abusing state power to go after Chinese businesses, according to a Chinese Foreign Ministry spokesperson. The remark was made after the Chinese Foreign Ministry was asked to comment on the reports that the United States is drafting a ban on imports of new Chinese optical transceivers and is also preparing price floors and tariffs on polysilicon and related products. Polysilicon is the foundation raw material used to build over 90% of the world's solar panels. Foreign Ministry spokesperson Lin Jian said in a statement, protectionism will not make the U.S. more competitive, adding the U.S. move seriously disrupts normal trade and economic exchanges between Chinese and U.S. businesses and is not in the interest of U.S. businesses and consumers or anyone else. Hiroshima on Thursday marked the 81st anniversary of the U.S. atomic bombing of the western Japanese city. About 50,000 people, including representatives from some 120 countries and regions, including the U.S. and Iran, were to attend the ceremony. A minute of silence was held while a peace bell rang out at 8:15 a.m., the time when the U.S. B-29 dropped the bomb on the city. Daniel Rao tells us more.
On August 6, 1945, during World War II, the US B-29 superfortress Enola Gay dropped an atomic bomb on Hiroshima, destroying the city and resulting in an estimated 140,000 deaths. A second bomb dropped 3 days later on Nagasaki killed 70,000. Japan surrendered on August 15th, ending World War II, and Japan's nearly half-century of aggression in Asia. The number of survivors has fallen to 91,105, about a quarter of the original number, with their average age exceeding 86. In a speech marking the 81st anniversary of the bombing, Hiroshima Mayor Kazumi Matsui said downplaying the inhumanity of nuclear weapons and accepting the use of force to pursue one's own prosperity risk cycles of violent retaliation that could ultimately result in another Hiroshima or Nagasaki. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi, who attended the memorial for the first time as the country's leader, said she'll take a realistic approach towards achieving a world where nuclear weapons are never used. This year's ceremony comes at a time of looming speculation that Takaichi's hawkish government, which supports the idea of nuclear deterrence, may ease Japan's post-War III non-nuclear principles when it compiles new security and defense documents later this year. Takaichi said Japan has maintained its post-War III non-nuclear principles, but fell short of expressing commitment for sticking with that policy into the future. Daniel TV News.
Welcome back. FIFA President Gianni Infantino has retained the FIFA board's support after a crisis meeting in Morocco on Wednesday, despite fierce pressure to resign from external bodies. Hiba Khan reports.
Initially, top FIFA officials considered the Forward Enterprise Plan to be reproachable and distanced themselves from Infantino's ideas. After the meeting on Wednesday, however, the FIFA General Secretary and the rest of the board reaffirmed their support for the president. They boiled it down to unintentional exclusion of the board in the proposal and errors made after the plan was leaked to media. The Union of European Football, or UEFA, was one of Infantino's biggest opposition, threatening World Cup boycotts if the plan went through. They were also against his plan to expand the 2030 Men's World Cup to 64 teams, a proposal made with no consultation of other parties. Portugal legend Luís Figo demanded the president's resignation, describing his conduct as the lowest, most deceitful, and cravenly self-interested behavior he has ever witnessed. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney also expressed an absence of confidence in Infantino.
Look, I've run a few organizations in my time. The idea that proper governance is not to disclose to your closest advisors, your chief operating officer, your fellow board members, something of consequence that you're even considering, let alone proposing, that's fatal, should be fatal, and you lose confidence in that individual. They have their own procedures for making those determinations, but certainly I don't have confidence in Mr. Infantino after this point, given what transpired.
FIFA's next presidential election is scheduled for March 2027. Hiba Khan, TVB News.
German authorities said Wednesday that a drone fitted with an unidentified explosive device had been found at Leipzig airport in eastern Germany. The device was defused, but the incident has posed a new quality of danger, the country's top security official said. Tracy Furness has more.
In a briefing at Germany's Leipzig-Halle airport, German Interior Minister Alexander De Brindt told reporters that drone sightings and drone threats was something known from the past, but a drone armed with explosives at an airport is a new threat scenario. De Brindt described what happened as a hybrid attack scenario, but didn't offer more details of authorities' assessment or specify who might be responsible. Earlier, a robotic device was used to approach the suspicious object. Then the bomb squad was seen approaching it before examining the object. Authorities said an airport staff member discovered the drone in a restricted cargo area near the southern runway of the airport. Both airport runways were closed and several flights, including one passenger plane, were diverted to other airports after the flying object was sighted nearby shortly after midnight, police said. Meanwhile, an apparent second flying object collided with a freight plane after it aborted landing because the runway was closed. The plane flew to another German airport, Hanover, about 200 kilometers to the northwest. Authorities said there was no danger to passengers or airport employees, and flights were not affected on Wednesday. Tracy Furness, TVB News.
Progressive U.S. Senate candidate Abdul El-Sayed defeats moderate Haley Stevens in Michigan's Democratic primary in a defining race, signaling a possible leftist pivot for the party. The contest in Michigan has surpassed turnout of previous Senate and gubernatorial primaries and almost every presidential primary going back to at least 1978, according to state records.
El-Sayed will now face Republican Mike Rogers, who ran unopposed in his primary. Rogers lost by just under 20,000 votes to now Senator Alyssa Slotkin in 2024. It's expected to be a close race that both parties see as crucial to their chances of winning the Senate chamber.
El-Sayed has garnered support from both independents and Democrats, including Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren. Sanders praises El-Sayed's primary win in Michigan as literally unprecedented in modern American history, saying his economic message had broad appeal and has the ability to turn out core Democratic constituencies, including Black and Jewish voters. Warren echoes the sentiment, saying El-Sayed's message about affordability and the economy will appeal to a broad audience. Beijing has been designated as the World Capital of Architecture 2029, UNESCO announced on Wednesday. Established jointly by UNESCO and International Union of Architects, or UIA, the World Capital of Architecture program highlights transformative role of architecture, urban planning, culture, and heritage in advancing sustainable urban development. Every 3 years, UNESCO designates a host city. Rio de Janeiro, Copenhagen, and Barcelona have all held the title. UNESCO says Beijing is selected for its exceptional ability to bring together one of the world's richest architectural heritages with a forward-looking vision of sustainable urban development. Under the theme Back to Balance, Beijing will mount a series of exhibitions, conferences, and public events throughout 2029, alongside its hosting of the UIA World Congress of Architects. Police arrested 25 people on suspicion of taking part in loan sharking, seizing a total of $10.34 million. Many arrestees have a syndicate background. The youngest suspect is 13 years old. Mimo Singhai reports.
During the two-day operation, the police seized a wide array of evidence from the syndicate, including $1.94 million worth of cash and designer brand handbags. Investigation shows that the group operated 3 establishments in Mongkok and Fo Tan, 1 licensed financial company and 2 mobile centers. Under disguise of the licensed company, the syndicate promoted their money-lending schemes to members of the public on social media and through cold calls. In the process, the group would demand a high loan shark drug rate reaching 282% annually, which far exceeds the maximum 48% interest rate allowed by the law. If borrowers fail to pay, members will threaten them through phone calls and splash red paint on doors. In just 1 year, the syndicate loaned more than $200 million to 2,000 borrowers. Meanwhile, the police note that 4 of the 25 arrestees are students, with the youngest one being 13.
Most of them are recruited. They have saw some advertisement from the Telegram or some other social medias for quick cash, recruiting for quick cash opportunities, and therefore falling prey to joining this loan sharking syndicates.
The police urge members of the public to use licensed and legitimate financial institutions for money lending to avoid illegal loan sharks. Numbers 9, TVB News.
The Chinese University of Hong Kong has unveiled its 5-year strategic plan for 2026 to 2030, outlining the university's development priorities and key initiatives over the next 5 years. CUHK Vice-Chancellor and President Dennis Low says the blueprint aligns with the National 15th Five-Year Plan and supports Hong Kong's own inaugural 5-year plan. Among the key initiatives, CUHK will establish a new graduate college, increasing the total number of colleges to 10. Low says as the world grapples with challenges such as the global race for talent and climate change, while AI reshapes modern life, the university must adopt a forward-looking strategy. CUHK will further strengthen collaboration with Chinese University of Hong Kong's Shenzhen campus and other Greater Bay Area universities, while expanding exchange opportunities both internationally and across the region. Hong Kong has been promoting innovation and technology in recent years, while the mainland province of Fujian got started much earlier. A semiconductor company founded by HKUST graduates claims that, for now, Xiamen offers better conditions for semiconductor development, while Hong Kong plays a major role in supplying talent. Alina Wang reports.
These glasses look ordinary, but put them on, you get real-time map navigation right in front of you. The augmented reality glasses is lighter and delivers high resolution, thanks to a micro-LED chip that's far more advanced than the OLED used in today's televisions. The chip measures just 0.13 inches, about the size of a grain of rice. Among the founders of the company behind this chip are graduates from the Hong Kong University of Science and Technology. One of the founders says a lot of LED fabrication plants are based in Xiamen, for the city has plenty of experience from Taiwanese semiconductor chips. The company has also set up a production line there, which now turns out over 10 million chips a year. He acknowledges Hong Kong doesn't have enough manufacturing resources, but plays a major role in supplying talent. This role is also evident at the biomedical port in Xiamen's Haitang district. The area is the first national-level Taiwanese investment zone, transformed into a medical hub with over 500 biomedical companies setting up here, leading to the development of several new drugs. A manager from the port says they have been working closely with the Hong Kong Trade Development Council's Fujian office. Quite a few of the innovation startups in the port are the result of technology commercialization from Hong Kong universities. Alina Wang, TVB News.
And that's the news. Thank you for watching.